Okay, and we are live. Well, not really live, cause it's being recorded.
Live-ish.
Yes.
Sure enough, yeah, live-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, you know.
Anyway, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Small Town Slashers, and we're just this is an introductory episode to kind of what all we're gonna be doing and kind of an explanation of what we do. So we're just a group of friends, more like family, really, who are actors, filmmakers, streamers, and absolute nerds when it comes to stuff like horror. Just really small town people looking to talk with other small town people. Nice place for us to get together and just BS with each other. And eventually, as we grow, we'll hopefully branch out into other communities. We'll have guests and all that stuff on the show, and just talk shop. And that's really really all that. But not everything's gonna be strictly involved around horror. It's a big part of it, but yeah, it's not all gonna be about that. Kind of in the spirit of a podcast that we started a while back, but it never really went anywhere because around the time we started doing it, the weather was just like, hey, I'm gonna mess with this, and it did. And it's kind of been
Yeah.
sitting in limbo for a little bit, but now we're back and better than ever, and you're not going to die of old age before you get done saying the name. That's my fault.
Then you also didn't have me back then either.
Very true. We also didn't have Gun Bunny. But I think I've been a little bit long-winded enough, so I'll hand the flow over to one of you dudes and let y'all introduce yourselves.
Oakley, do you want to go first?
Sure. So, hello everyone. My name is Oakley, aka just Slash or Fugit, better known as the Kentucky Slashmaster, and I'm a filmmaker, photographer. I've been making. The best way to put it is I've been making films since 2008 and watchable ones since 2015.
They're all good.
Mm-hmm.
You've actually come out with some really good ones that I've watched at work too and showed them off.
Same.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I've spent all day. I've been working on remastering like my HD era films now that I can color grade, and I was just reliving a bunch of madness with this film of mine called Somber Thoughts. Though I might change it to the Pumpkin Man of Wattsburg because it was said to be like this really killer movie, like a demonic possession film, and like the idea was that these two sisters shared like a soul bond, so as one girl would like as they would try to cleanse the demon, the other one would become possessed. But unfortunately, one of the actresses dropped out very last minute, so we changed it to a demonic man in a pumpkin mask, making just breaking this girl's sanity and convincing her to kill. And it was such a wild ride, and in fact, I think like I'd almost had the film finished when I started like my career, and I kind of got took off with that. If finally having a job and all that stuff, and I kept coming back and working on it bits at a time. But it's my favorite film just because of the insanity. I love some of the shots, and my also favorite one is one of my co-hosts, Wolf, actually kills me in that film in the best way ever. I just get randomly shot in the head, and I love that. That's actually how I'd want to go out in real life, just a random headshot.
I honestly think out of every kill that I have ever done in a movie, that one is by far my favorite because it's like the one Desert Eagle corridor kill in Halloween Kills. Like
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
so it's just that one that you're like, yep, that's it.
Yeah, and I wanted because I made the whole film to be as silly as possible because I mean it's literally a demon guy like in a pumpkin mask running around talking to this mute girl. Which the reason the girl is mute in the movie is our lead actress doesn't like doing dialogue, so she asked like if she could just not say anything the entire movie, and I'm like, all right, you're mute now, and so so it's just like all that. One of my friends, Dustin Hall, voices the killer, and he's just got this deep, luxurious voice. I think in the credits, I might have changed it, but if I changed it, I'm going to change it back. Like I had it credited as like Dustin Hall, the sexiest voice known to mankind. But so I got him camping it up, but I was like, well, somebody might think I was trying to make it like that I wasn't trying to make this cheesy horror film. So why don't I just, because I'm like one of the main characters, so I'm like, why don't I just get shot in the head, and that should clear like any confusion up.
Why, yeah.
Oh man, you're telling me you weren't the final girl in that movie?
Unfortunately, no.
You know, you never really see a male as the final person to make it through. They always make it a female.
hmm
We got Tommy Jarvis from Friday the 13th. He was one.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
compared to the amount of girls,
Very
how
true.
many guys do you have?
Very true. Very true.
Well, also in Tommy Jarvis's three, like the trilogy, like the first one's his sister survives with him. The second one's his first girlfriend, and the third one is his second girlfriend. So yeah, they've never really had just like a sole male survivor.
Sounds like something we need to do.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of having that one person just be a male. Just because it is so, and I'm not trying to just make it as a male dominated story, but it is always the females that make it out.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be one I could toy with, but and to spoil, let's see, I made the movie in 2016, so oh my god, a 6-year-old movie now. Jesus, sorry, I just had to take that in a second. But yeah, to spoil a 6-year-old movie, actually, nobody ends up surviving, and that's usually quite the staple for my movie. Everyone, or at least all the main cast, like ends up dying at the end of it. I genuinely think you could get me to do like a romantic comedy, and I would somehow turn it into a bloodbath in like the last 15 minutes.
I'd fund that.
Yeah, I'd fund it as well.
Also, without spoiling too much of it, talking about another movie that you made and involving a final dude, we need to bring back the werewolf movie. Like, if
Oh
not
yeah,
in its full glory, but if you ever wanted to do a remake, I would totally be down for that.
I'd love to too if we could find like some we just need a couple girls to play like the sister and stuff. But yeah, actually, the werewolf movie, the sole survivor is a guy, and he also delivers the best line in the entire movie.
Dear God, yeah.
Yeah, I was spoiled because it's a werewolf, and so like after he's done defeating the werewolf, he says, "Dog days are over, bitch."
That is actually really good too.
I love that.
Yeah,
Like, I want that
and
on a shirt.
like it was entirely improv too. But it's funny because like the guy, like we all like we did the same like film school together, or like film media institute, whatever you want to call it. But he actually got he actually got forced to star in this movie, and he hates it. But I love it because I've always had a dream to be in a really god awful, like so bad it's bad movie, and I got my wish. Like I play a character that I got to pick all my traits and dialogue, and my character like had this gold plated Indian Zippo, and and then like once the werewolf attacks, like I've got two knives in my hand and I hand the lead a knife and then I just pull out another one. Like it's glorious. I love everything about that movie, even if I think I'm the only one involved in the movie that is glad it exists.
I mean,
I almost wish that you would have said, "Here, hold my knife." Pull out another knife.
I mean, me personally, I'm glad it exists, and I'll say this much as well, because I know there's going to be a few people that watch this podcast or listen to this podcast regularly that really like what we do. Pay attention anytime you see a TV or what in our movies. Pay attention to what's on the TV because more often than never, it is the werewolf movie.
Oh yeah, it's actually yeah it's what like one of the biggest film I've worked on so far. Might even be split up into two parts, but whenever there's like the aftermath of a romance scene, they're actually watching the werewolf movie on the TV.
I think that's pretty
It
good
makes for a
aftercare.
really good Easter egg.
Yeah.
Yeah. But mostly because like it's like my favorite bizarre story. Like this guy like, literally got forced to star in this really awful movie. Like he hated every second of it, and I remember behind the scenes he was just like, Oakley, you know this film is going to be so awful, and I'm like, so it's win-win for me. Either it turns out to be A tier amazing, and they're like, hey, you played Matt in the werewolf movie, and I'm like, yeah, I did. Or it turns out to be god awful, and my dream of being in a very awful horror movie comes true. So either way, it's a win for me. And plus, I got paid. I got paid like $1,200 to be in this really awful werewolf movie. I think that's fantastic.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
Yeah, like it's like for that kind of money, I'll star in any like god awful horror movie. Or honestly, I would do it for free as long as I could eat.
Free food. That's all I need.
Yeah. Uh huh. God, that's actually the same job, and I swear I'll shut up about this job. But I actually snuck like a morbid line into my autobiography on the website, and it was like up for like 2 hours before they noticed it. And it was just Oakley, born in Kentucky, loved making movies, all this stuff, and like this was like in 2018. And I was like, tragically, like February something 2018. Oakley Fugate ate himself to death on Dairy Queen chicken strips. Nobody noticed for 2 weeks, nor really cared when they found out.
Like, I think what honestly makes that for me is the fact that nobody proofread that before they're like, yeah, let's put this on the website. Like, who wasn't paying attention? Like,
Well, let's say like they know I don't. I really hate writing about myself, and I know this podcast might give some people the wrong opinion, but I actually don't like talking about myself. Like I'll talk about some things, but there's stuff I'm secretive of. But yeah, like I really don't like writing like, autobiographies and stuff. So I was like, oh, okay, well if you're going to make me write a bio, I'm going to put my own twist to it. I mean, I basically turn everything into a slasher movie. Even my most famous documentary, like a lot of the B-roll of it's unused ones from this other horror film I did.
that's
See,
fair.
I kind of did the same thing during basic. They would make us do punishments where we had to write essays and everything, and I didn't make them any serious, even though they wanted them serious. Like I wrote literally about how Cuba had an eye plague and needed eye protection, so that's the reason why the Cuban Missile Crisis was started. They made a deal with Russia to get superior eye protection, so Russia could use Cuba as a missile silo place against the U.S.
That almost sounds like something that would come from The Onion.
Like me and it was me and this my neighbor on Bunkwise. He wrote about like it being needed in World War II, and I did that, and it was funny.
This sounds great. I would have
I
loved to have
I
read
know I
that.
have it, so I'll have to find it and send it to you.
Please do. Well, Gun Bunny, would you like to take the reins?
Yeah. So I'm Lord Gun Bunny. as what I call myself on Twitch and video games. Ragnar Bjornsson is actor name, of course. I love doing voices. One of the things that actually me and Wolf actually kind of bonded on, as well as some other things on how we met. But yeah, so I am the voice artist, I would like to say, out of the group,
Very true.
and also the clown of us all.
Also very true.
And you can see that in the actual logo. I'm the clown. Uh, the mask is actually part of a Joker cosplay that I will be doing one day, which I'm really excited for. And me and Wolf are actually starting a prop company together, which I can't really wait for that. You can see two of the props actually that we built together, and then one that he 3D printed right there in our logo. So you can actually see what we're doing.
Yeah, there's also one which I've sent to a couple people, but like I didn't, because like I do the like the promo pictures for the prop, so I didn't want to leak one before it was like official. But like I've actually got one that's actually lit up like by my bedside right now. It's like super cool.
Yeah, and I really am glad that you actually like it, because I mean, that one was one of my favorites to actually make, the one that you have. Uh, but I also feel like that one can lead to other ones that we can do.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Uh, Now I do know Oakley is our main photographer for everything, as he stated. He does some really good work. He also was the one that took the picture for the logo.
Kind of on topic with that. As soon as you had mentioned that, there is a little stink bug uh on my desk, and as soon as you started like talking about like all the stuff that the Slash Master has done, the stink bug like started clapping, and
Oh,
it's still
Yeah,
clapping like right on, man. But yeah, dude, like
it's
seriously,
all
Oakley,
excited.
Oakley, I trust nobody more with a camera than Oakley, including myself. And keep in mind, to those people that know me, I actually graduated, like, I've got a bachelor's degree in, like, film and media arts and all this other stuff. And I don't trust me as much with a camera as I trust Oakley. Like, dude is
Yeah, and
absolutely
like me and
phenomenal.
Wolf were actually talking about that when I was up there this past weekend. Like I have a photography page, but nothing is near what Oakley can do.
thank you. I just really, I don't know. Like it's just me, just practicing. I mean, I, I literally edit like in my spare time. Like I tell people all the time, like if there's any old picture you want touched up or like anything, just let me know. Because odds are, well, like I said, I spent all day editing. Well, one of the projects is top secret, but the other one was just me doing this complete remaster of this old like 6 year old horror movie that that like I really had a good time with, and thinking of all the wild stories, and I hope like if it's not taking too much from the podcast, like y'all want to hear one how I got one of the actors in trouble with the law.
Go for it, man. That's what we're here for. Just like us shooting the
Yeah,
breeze, really.
definitely. This is gonna be good.
Yeah, let us
Uh,
have it.
okay, I just wanted to make sure I didn't want to didn't want to take up 9% of the podcast to talk about this like just the 6 year old movie, but well, one of the actors in the movie. So well, okay. So I will say like there was some cut scenes as with any movie that has production issues, and the reason I was thinking about that, like where y'all was talking, is like I actually gave Wolf the camera I shot the movie with, and I was actually thinking today like we could get some actors maybe use the same camera and like shoot some of the material that was unable to be filmed. But anyhow, that's like a whole other tangent. Oh my god, like I'm really dragging on, but so anyways, one of the characters was this like grizzled, like was like this grizzled cop, who's just like really down on his luck and like kind of like and he was kind of going to be like the black comedy star. He just like if anything bad could happen, it happens to this guy, and so he was going to end up dying. And so, anyways, the actor that was the one of the first scenes we filmed was this guy telling me, like, "Did you hear about the cop who got stabbed to death in his own vehicle?" And he's like, "You better have something to protect yourself." And my character pulls out like a wimpy, like little derringer you hide in your hand. And I'm like, "I got this." And he's like, "Oh, you call that a protection? You should use this." And he pulls out a big gun, and I'm like, "Oh man, how much you want for it?" And he sells it to me because that's how all gun sales happen in cheesy movies. But it was the setup to the joke because that's the gun my character gets headshotted with. Like I dropped my own gun because I got stabbed, and Wolf picks it up and it accidentally goes off. So the gun that was supposed to protect me is what ends up killing me. But anyway, so the stuff with the cop didn't get filmed, and I didn't think anything of it, and I uploaded this, and it turns out the guy who's telling me this is actually a convicted felon, and has a really bad history with law enforcement, and he was actually in jail when the movie came out, and so he almost got like an extra 2 years like to his sentence because this video come out of him waving what looked like a real gun and talking about like a dead cop in his vehicle, and they're like, is this meant to be a threat? And he was just like, no, like he was, like he was like, trust me, it was for a movie. That was a BB gun. That was like some plot thing that I guess didn't get filmed. But thankfully they understood. Like you can, to poke fun at my own movies, you can freeze frame and see it's a BB gun if you pause it just right. And like whenever I heard that, I was like, I will gladly talk to the police. I will let them know the entire plot. I've got old dated scripts. I can prove that this was supposed to be a part of the movie. I've even got promo pictures of the guy who was supposed to play the cop who dropped out. But anyway, so that was just a very wild, wacky set of circumstances that I guess that's something when you're young you don't really have a lot of you can't really make you don't really understand stuff or like implications. So like when you have someone talking about a bunch of dead cops and you don't film the stuff with the cop, and I do stand like if the cop scenes did get filmed, I think they would have easily been like one of the highlights of the movie because it was just going to be this cop like, and it's like nothing phases him. Like, no matter how bad his day is, like he doesn't care. Like, even in the movie, he was going to try to run over the demon, and it was literally just going to be him like trying to run him over, and like the demon just vanishes, and he like crashes his car, and he comes out, and he's just like all covered in cuts and bruises, and like it just doesn't even affect him because he was like so down on his luck, like that just that means nothing. It's like literally the demon could do nothing to him that life hasn't. But anyway, so that was just sorry, that was a very long story about how I almost got an actor in more trouble with law enforcement.
No, you're totally fine. Like, trust me, this whole thing is gonna be just about a bunch of stories because we just get together and talk, and that's really it.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
But I mean, that is kind of really crazy because I mean, it really can happen that way for some people.
uh-huh. Like, but yeah, like just that the fact that like the Kentucky State Police had to watch this really awful horror movie just to understand that like this wasn't no elaborate threat. This was just some idiot filmmaker, and it turned out it turned out like he was also I guess pretty intoxicated when we filmed because he said he swears he doesn't even remember shooting the scene. But I've got him on camera, him like going over his lines, him talking. He even looks at the camera. It's just it's like a really wild set of circumstances, and but thankfully everything was okay, and he actually is in filmed another small appearance in my latest upcoming movie, that in no way can be misinterpreted or get him in trouble with law enforcement.
Oh man, we have another funny police story that I can think of.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I guess we'll save that one for like when the time is right, or if you just want to tell it now, we can do that.
It's up to y'all, but we without spoiling anything, we do got a upcoming road trip. That might be a good time to share because it's share some like really funny funny stories like about trips on the road.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We can we can
And I
definitely
really
do
can't
that.
wait for that road trip. That road trip is going to be fun.
Same. We should actually record that. We should record that podcast on the trip as well, which I think that's what we're gonna do, right?
I think that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And also the story involves it was just a really hectic night, but like that somewhere I hope they still exist. I know Wolf has recordings of our very long rant because like this. Well, without spoiling too much, and definitely not cutting in the part of the cop because that's just like that's like the cherry on top.
Oh
Like
god.
a supposed 2 hour drive ended up taking like 7.5.
What makes that even better was like that's not even the story that I was thinking of, but now that you mention it, it's like, oh damn it.
Wait, what, oh god, what was the other story with the cops?
So we'll talk about this maybe in another episode, or we may end up doing it later in this one. But we did a film a few years ago. It was a fan film with The Walking Dead, and we did a photo shoot on top of Pine Mountain, and it was already 10 degrees colder than fuck outside, and it was raining on us. And so we're up there on top of Pine Mountain. Our friend he did a Negan cosplay, and Oakley was taking pictures. We had 3 people that were supposed to be other survivors, and then I was a savior. I think that's what they're called. I don't know. Fuck, I don't watch The Walking Dead. But I had I had like a BB gun, like a AR. It's not an AR-15, but it's like you know what it is. I was over to the side, and this thing honestly looked real enough that if I would have been seen by anybody that didn't know it was fake, this thing looked real enough to get me in a lot of trouble. But it's late at night. We're up there taking these pictures and all that stuff. There's a van right where we're parked, and we didn't think anything of it, so we just set everything up. We got studio lights, we got cars, and we're taking the pictures and everything. And I was under the impression that the police had already been notified. Hey, we're going to be up there. We're going to be taking pictures and everything. Apparently not, because we were there taking pictures for what? I don't know. I'd say 20, 30 minutes maybe.
Yeah, I'd say like 40 minutes max because it was so like it was so cold. There was a part where I was shivering, you were shivering, the guy playing Negan was shivering, everyone doing the lineup was shivering, and we're all like, okay, we did enough.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie. When you said there was a van, instantly went to that Saturday Night Live skit of Chris Farley, where he's like, "You live down by the river in a van. Here's a supply of government cheese."
That's honestly kind of that look or that description. Honestly, pretty well hit this van exactly.
Like that is straight up what I was thinking right there.
But we're up there. We're taking these pictures, and this van he's just sitting there for like 10 minutes, and he just leaves. So we finished taking the pictures, and we're driving back down off of Pine Mountain, and I don't know. I would consider him more of an acquaintance because I don't really know him that well. But the guy that plays Negan, he knew someone that was on the police force in Whitesburg, and he got a call and was like, "Hey, you guys up there taking pictures?" And he's like, "Yeah." It's like, okay, because we got a call that came in from like KSP, and then one of my friends who worked at KSP messages me and was like, "Hey, are you guys taking pictures? Because we just got a call that sounded something like there was these dudes up on top of Pine Mountain. One guy had like 5 people down on the ground. He had a baseball bat, and he looked like he was getting ready to sacrifice them." Didn't say anything about the studio lights, didn't say anything about the guy taking the pictures, didn't say anything about the guy with the AR that looked real enough to get his ass shot. It was just one guy that had a baseball bat with 5 people that were, he looked like he was getting ready to sacrifice him. I mean, at least they knew it was us, but then, you know, so we got the police called on us then. They knew what it was, but then Oakley looks at me and he goes, "Now's our chance, man. Now we got to actually go up on top of Pine Mountain and sacrifice somebody."
Yeah.
Because we know we can get away with it. We're like, "Well, yeah."
Let the sacrifice begin.
Which to open up a whole other can of worms with triggering somebody who doesn't get that horror, like doesn't that horror doesn't care to be risque. Like the gods require a sacrifice, and if that person happens to be and if that person happens to be listening to this podcast, I know the gods will have a sacrifice just for you.
Right. Like, I still can't believe you go to a haunted house and you expect them not to make some kind of obscene gesture or like say something like that.
Right.
And then get offended. Actually, about to bring that up, and then Oakley said it.
For we get into some haunted house stuff, because we all work at this haunted house like every October. The police officer that called Jake, who's the Negan cosplayer, he's actually a really good friend of mine, and I'll tell a couple quick stories on him. He helped me when I found it turned out not to be a police issue taser, but like a civilian bought one. But like I found a taser just because I just walk around like to get groceries and stuff. And I was like, "Hey, would you can I turn this in?" And he was like, "Yeah." And so he helped me turn it in because like and like the cop I was turning it into is like, these things are pretty pricey. And I was like, "Yeah, but I would hope." I was like, "I want to be the change in the world, like I would hope somebody would give it up, I would return my fancy thing if I lost it," which I ain't gonna lie, I did look it up on eBay and they were selling for like $1,200. So,
Oh, shit.
it was tempting. Yeah, it was tempting, but I wanted to
especially if they're police issued style, they can get real pricey.
Yeah, so it's like the same model the police uses, only there was like something on it that showed them like it wasn't anyone from our local police departments. Like theirs isn't completely a jet black, and and another one is again because this guy's just such a wonderful human being. I was actually walking back with like a thing of groceries, and he pulled up in his police cruiser, and he's like, "Hey, you need a ride?" And I was like, "Yeah," and so like he had a bunch of like stuff for work on the passenger side. So he just kind of chuckled. He's like, "Would you mind getting in the back?" And I was like, sure. I think this is like one of the few times someone's like voluntarily got in the back of a police cruiser. So, anyways, he pulls me up to my apartment, and my landlord and his friend is just like outside doing yard work, and they just see a police cruiser stop and pull over, and the cop just walking around like and like opening the door for me, and it just really freaked them out.
Which, I mean, in everything that we do, we know a lot of people, and I mean, they're like, I think it's right now just expected. This is exactly what we're doing. It's like, hey, there's some people outside soaked with blood, and it's like, oh, that's just Oakley and Eli. Oh yeah, I'm Elihu Ackerman, by the way. I forgot about that. Sorry about that.
I've rambled on so long. We've got.
You're fine.
He also goes by Wolf, so I like to call him Wolf.
I think we mostly call him Wolf, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been so
But
wrapped up in
I,
stories, man. I forgot. It's like, who's Eli? And, hey.
Oh wait, that's
yeah.
me.
Oh yeah. Oh man, maybe because I do want to swim back to the haunted house, but we can tell some stories, all right? I guess I'll
Absolutely.
go ahead. After we killed somebody in one of my favorite movies, the Hermarsha, there was a shot with some like bloody teeth hitting the ground, which was actually filmed before before Halloween 2018 came out. So that was just a happy coincidence. Like Halloween 2018 beat us in coming out, but Hermarsha's was filmed first. But yeah,
Ooh.
anyhow, so like I've still got the set of, I think I've got like 16 bloody teeth left or something like that. And so I was like, well, I don't want to put them back in with this set and get blood on these shiny fake teeth. So what do I do with them? So like we went to like the local bar and I just like left them in like random places like throughout town, just like these random bloody teeth. And I was like, it'll be a funny story whenever someone discovers them.
I mean, yeah. It wouldn't be the first time we've left a mess. And, well, we've left evidence of us being there. It wouldn't be the
Left a
first time we've
calling
done it.
card.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. Whenever we filmed one of my favorite death scenes, it was like on this walking track. It was also for her Marsha. Like by the end of it, and when I say walking track, I don't mean city. I mean this is like a dirt road, like on the top of a big mountain, like miles and miles away from civilization. So don't go thinking we defaced public property. I mean, it was just a dirt road, and like after we finished killing, like the girl that got killed, it's like, what are we gonna do with the blood? And I was like, leave it, the rain will get it. And she's like, well, what if somebody comes and sees it? I'm like, well, that'll be a nice surprise about why you shouldn't walk alone in the middle of the woods.
I mean,
True.
And then we drove through McDonald's, and that's honestly one of my favorite behind the scenes pictures. Is just her looking so done with it all, like when we're going forward, and you can see the big McDonald's golden arch in the background.
oh yeah, I mean, that's
Oh
the
yeah,
look on her face
I
is just like,
remember that picture.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites, and when you can tell I like a picture, I've got 4 or 5 versions because as I learn more toning, I retone them. So like, there's 4 or 5 versions of that because I love it so much. And also when we were going through there, they just so happened to be like, "Could you pull up and we'll bring your food out?" And and like Wolf's like, "Hey, what if they call the cops?" So I said, she's like, "Shut the fuck up."
and the whole entire time we're just fucking with her. It's like,
Yeah. Oh
hey
yeah.
man,
Yeah.
handle
See,
this.
I'm someone like, if it comes to horror movie or something and they're like nervous and there's no danger, I'll totally screw with people.
Oh yeah.
I,
Yeah.
but like, but yeah, that was one of my favorite days, and just how we definitely just left a calling. And as far as I know, the rain just washed, because I was like, well, it's a dirt road, the rain's going to take care of it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I finally last night decided to set up my horror themed garden gnomes, and I sent a picture to
Ooh.
the chat. Don't mind the dust, but yes, some of them I'm like Freddy, where's your hat? Where's your hat, man? But some of them look really good.
I dig him.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Scroll through. This Discord is an app I haven't learned yet. I'm still attempting to master the Discord, fellow kids.
It's okay, brother. It is really
Oh
finicky.
wow, these do look awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we all do this haunted house, and the story I was telling earlier, like we Wolf and Gun Bunny are like, on a whole other level. Like you need to get these guys for your haunted house, but only if it doesn't conflict with Mountain Mayhem, because we're kind of tied with them because they rule.
We're a
Um,
package deal, though. They got to get you
Yeah,
too.
definitely package deal. And
yeah.
really, I do appreciate it. Mountain Mayhem, definitely one of the best haunted houses I've been to.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And like, but yeah. So well, every haunted house to kind of switch it up. I do. Like you'll know. Um, But anyways, one of the times like Gun Bunny shouted, "The gods require a sacrifice," and somebody
Yep.
like actually filed a complaint saying that was too offensive. Like, keep in mind they go through a bunch of dead body. Like it's like a haunted
Like,
house.
there's a complete room with body parts all over it.
Yeah, but you can't say the gods require
Yeah.
sacrifice. I guess that's too much. But it's actually being inclusive because it's not saying your god requires sacrifice. It's
Right.
saying the gods, like
Yeah,
all
all the
gods.
gods. All the
Yeah.
gods want this sacrifice to happen.
Furthermore, it's a haunted house, man. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, you're gonna see some like religious iconography every now and then, like probably in the form of like maybe Catholicism or something like that, because we're scared
Yeah.
of demons. But then again, there it
Mhm.
is,
And I
demons.
get that we're in the Bible Belt area too.
Yeah,
So I
Uh-huh.
do get that, but still, you're coming to a haunted house.
Yeah. It's so wild. The only and keep in mind, like in my earlier movies, like I had my animals, like like involved, like there's one kill I think looks so like it's aged so well, and it is so disturbing looking, but it's because like it was like one of my beloved dogs that's just like jet black, except like a little white patch like around like just under his neck. And so for that dog's death scene, which he was rewarded with some very high dollar dog treats, but like I put like a tube that you couldn't see because his fur was so thick, and so when I hit it with the prop knife, like it just blood poured everywhere, like all on that white fur, and it looks so disturbing. But anyway, so I've done stuff like that. I was under the impression that people knew they were coming to my movies for cheesy, bloody good times, like. But there actually was a death scene that got some complaints, and I would be proud, but it wasn't my idea, and that kind of bums me out because it's like the one death scene that like wasn't my idea was like everyone's like, this is too much. You have to cut this. You can't keep this in the movie, and I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, but basically one of my main actresses, I thought like she was expecting her first kid, and there's actually a pretty cool picture of me like holding her kid like after a kid was born, like during the second part of the death scene. But but I thought she was pregnant. Well, I mean, she was. I didn't think that. But yeah, yeah, but like I was like, okay, I don't want to bother her. She's got so much going on, and she messages me, and she's like, hey, can I die in your new movie? And I was like, yeah, and she's like, all right, I've got this idea, and it's going to take place over 2 different days, but I want to get my baby cut out of me. And I was like, god dang, like that's way more brutal and disturbing than anything I could have thought of. Heck yeah, let's do it. Yeah, not like it's rare that I have an idea that's just like thrown at me that's like so disturbing that I'm like, I couldn't have thought of that. But anytime I do, I'm like, heck yeah, let's do it.
well, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Most definitely. And I'm really excited for some of the projects that we will be having. No spoilers, of course.
Oh
No,
yeah, nah,
There's some really good ones on the table.
I'm excited too. Like even when we was after we did the promo picture, we was just like ad libbing like some of these ideas, and it was like so awesome and funny. Like I swear, I didn't want to ruin the moment, but I was almost going back. Hey guys, would you be okay if I just turn the microphone on because like we was in my office, but because I mean like the voices were so good, it's just like all these ideas. Like I was like, man, this is solid gold.
And what's great is that's every time like the three of us get together, or
Oh
like
yeah, most definitely.
even just two of us together, whether it's like you and Gun Bunny and I, you and I, and like just whatever. There's always ideas flowing. There's always some really great moments. And now that we're starting the podcast and everything, we've got like the three of us together. Oh yeah, get ready for a plethora.
Oh yeah.
It's absolute gold. I love you guys.
I
We
love you too.
But yeah, no, like there will definitely be moments that you'll hear voices just randomly
Oh yeah.
coming from me.
Yeah, it is wild when we listen to these. I have the weirdest taste in music. It's like I don't even know what you would describe the stuff. Like I play for people, but there's like 5 go-to videos I love showing people just to gauge the reaction.
I actually showed a few of them to some people at work today, and they were all like, "Where did you find this? And how
Was
did
one
you
about
find
a
this?"
car?
Yes, one of them was about a car.
Yes. I know what song.
Oh man, it's the best. But yeah, that was one of them, and the the knee jerk reaction to that one was like, "This is not what I expected, but I really like it." Oddly enough.
But yeah, actually we could talk a bit about because like we may be filming with him this weekend. One of our new actors, Jeff Jace, who also works at the haunted house. Oh my god, Emily does too. We basically basically
Recruiting
invisible.
center.
Yeah, it's like Invisible Scars featuring Mountain Mayhem, is what the movie should be called. But uh, anyways, Jace was like such a trooper. Like, I didn't see the stunt because I was busy getting my camera out, cameras like ready. But he was like so committed to like this part. He did like a rehearsal and he like threw himself on the ground and sprained his ankle. And
The true
the only
meaning of don't break a leg.
yeah, literally, and like Wolf and I had no idea. Because like he was just like, hey, do you mind if I rest? I think my leg feels a bit funny. So we let him rest for like 5 minutes, and he was good to go. We filmed the entire death scene. That's like one of the most violent and brutal ones we've done. And I mean, like I love how that thing how it turned out so much. So we did all that, and then we ended up having a bunch of bizarre things with like car troubles, like Wolf's car had run dead. My car had a missing battery I didn't know about. So yeah. Anyway, a very crazy night, and so I rush in tomorrow. When the next morning, edit everything together and send it to Jason. He's like, "This looks great. By the way, I'm at the hospital. They think they think I sprained my ankle." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" But he was so committed.
Dedication right there.
Yeah, like even after a sprained ankle, he still wanted to film like film the film because like we had to cut the shoot short whenever we realized everything like with the cars and like that music video. Unfortunately, none of our cars were good cars that night.
No, not at all.
Yeah. But anyways, so yeah, he came back and like did the rest of it like with the sprained ankle and like it was like so bizarre, just like one of those like, wait, what? You did what now? And because I was like, God, how hard did this young kid throw himself? Like, but like,
And it was like he didn't even
yeah,
throw himself that hard either, because like we'll choreograph it with me, and not to like flex or anything, but we do our own stunts and everything, and like me personally, I know what I can take. You know, if
Mhm.
we choreograph something, you make a mislick, you punch me in the face, that's fine. I'll roll with it. But for like the other person's safety, we'll really choreograph it for them. He didn't look like he threw himself that hard, and you know, it was just one of those freak things that you just land a certain way. But even then, after spraining his ankle, he didn't let on like he sprained his ankle, like at all. Like he didn't act like he was hurting. He didn't act like he wasn't limping or nothing. He just committed 100%, and he's a real trooper. He's a real trooper, and I respect that absolutely.
Yeah, like shout out to him and shout out to his parents, because I don't know if his parents have ever met you, but I know they've never met me.
They've never met me either.
Okay, so so like,
Well, didn't their parents technically meet us without knowing because they went through the haunt this past year?
Very true. They know us by
okay,
proxy.
okay, let's see. Let
They
me
know
think
our
of one.
haunt voice and costumes. That's about it.
So for the best way, to make it as comedic as possible. So their parents' interaction with the Slash Master is they went through this abandoned building and I terrorized them with a taser.
I
The,
can't remember what I did.
yeah,
Oh, I think you were with me that night, Wolf.
Yes, I was. Yeah, because you and I had the last room together.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Wolf and Gun Bunny does unspeakable things to them.
We didn't do anything too bad. We just yelled at him and threatened him with weapons. You know,
Yeah,
And
the
okay.
huge.
sacrifices and
Oh yeah, sacrifices to the gods.
Yeah, so some mild threats about sacrifices to the gods, and then they let their precious child come with us and film, and we bring him back at about like midnight, and his scene was imitating like some old stuff, like because I like the some of the characters he's based on did, and it was in this case chugging energy drinks, Monster energy drinks. So we bring him back hyped up on Monster energy drinks.
makes me think of Talladega Nights when the kid's like, "Chip, I'm all hyped up on Mountain Dew."
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty
So we bring him
much.
hyped up on Monster energy drinks. The next time we're filming, like we're at Walmart and he accidentally knocks like some flour on him, so he comes back covered in white powder, also hyped up on energy drinks because of me. And so then the next time we're doing his like senior pictures, and he comes back wearing a completely different outfit that we bought him just for those pictures. And then the next time he comes back with the sprained ankle, and they're still okay with like letting us like trust us with their child. Like they're like really shout out to them, because like the whole time I was worried, I was like, oh my god, these guys, they're just gonna be like, never go near that Slash guy ever again.
He's getting you into that white powder, aka flour.
Yeah,
What's it mean? Like we
yeah.
never do anything.
I, it's like, I swear your kid is just hopped up on energy drinks. That is flour. I promise you.
The worst thing that we will do is we will probably kill your character on camera, and that's really about it. I mean, we're pretty
Very
trustworthy.
true.
We're pretty trustworthy. We're safe as can be, with the exception of like the one sprained ankle. But well, to be fair, with a lot of the stunts where we're all like extremely physical actors and stuff, whenever we actually we shot the Negan film, there was at one point where I jump on Jake from a from like a little ledge thing. And how many takes did we do that in?
5.
So 5 takes of us doing that. Okay, there we were. It was doing it, just banged it out that day, and then the next day, like our old man body was in full swing. It was just like,
Yeah, definitely.
like you pull
That's
muscles
like,
while you're sleeping.
So for the haunt, one of the nights I played as Leatherface, and I could feel the chainsaw the next morning. That night, nothing. But that next morning, I could feel it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was another
I know,
thing.
adrenaline is crazy. I show people this death scene, and like it doesn't help that I'm not joking. It's like it is like one of the most violent death scenes I've done in a good time. It is like I really needed to do that death scene because I just love everything about it. And like you guys are just like the performances are phenomenal. Everything builds up to it. But anyway, so I'm showing people this like very brutal, violent death scene, and they're like, "Gee, no wonder he was injured." And I'm like, "Actually, we didn't know he was injured until like the next day. Like none of us did. Like the whole time he was running on adrenaline, and I mean for like a good 3 or 4 hours. And well, Wolf was actually with me when I kicked a hole through like through a ceiling and broke all five of my toes and I mean yeah, I knew I was hurt, but like again, I was like, okay, it's just a sprain because I'm like, I can walk on it. The next morning, I could not walk on it, and I was like, oh boy,
I'm still mad about that, and that's a rant that's not going to happen on here. But
yeah,
yeah,
like,
that was a mess.
yeah. But see, what's crazy is your memory of that night is probably way better than mine because I can't remember. There's like periods of like the next few days, like well, even the weeks, I can't remember. But it's like I do remember us packing some stuff up, and I do remember you were looking right at me as soon as I fell.
Yeah,
Because like I don't even know what I was saying, but I was like mid sentence and
like I'm not gonna say what it was because I don't know if I can, but yeah, like and it was in a way where I had literally just walked right over it. Like this was a couple seconds away from like I was a couple seconds away from actually stepping like where you had stepped, and through our eyes, there's no way that we would have seen it.
uh
Absolutely
huh.
no way. But I remember as soon as you fell, I was like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" And we get you up, we check you out and all this stuff, and we take you down to the downstairs. And then I run back up, and we find out exactly why you had fallen. And I was still very concerned for you, but God, I was fucking pissed when I discovered what I discovered. And I'm just like, this is
Hmm.
no. Somebody needs to get the absolute shit slapped out of them for doing that. Like,
Yeah.
I no, absolutely not. That's not cool.
And then to be a real trooper to then film while still recovering
Oh
for
yeah,
after that.
Oh yeah. I mean I'd say like as far as like everything those things happen. Like I was glad it could have been worse. Like I could have went all the way through the ceiling, which would have
Oh
been
yeah.
horrible. But yeah, actually, Wolf and I you know like within a couple days because we had this big shoot that was coming up like at the very beginning of July, and I was like, am I going to be? And like I fell, I think May somewhere in the teens, like 14th, 15th.
that sounds about right.
And so like I had five broken toes, and I'm like, well, am I going to be able to film? And so I was very insistent. I mean, to the point that I would not blame my doctor, who is a wonderful lady who was just so kind and helpful, went above and beyond for me. She even did my surgery like a bit early to try to help me up as much as possible. But, like I would not blame her if she knocked on my door right now and you could just hear me, like just hear the sounds of me getting the ever loving life smacked out of me because she's a foot doctor. So as long as she doesn't break my foot, she knows she don't have to deal with me anymore. But yeah, so like from immediately I was like, I'm going to be filming, and so she hoped I would heal faster than I did, and then she also ended up having to have another like appointment thing, so like I wouldn't be able to do the like I wouldn't be able to like I had these five metal rods put in my feet, and each one's about 4 inches in length. I still got them, which I guess I'll put that in. But anyways, so she was like, "Well, I don't know if you will be able to, like this is like a couple weeks before filming was to start." And I was under the assumption that that appointment that they were all going to be pulled out and I would be good to go. And she was like, "You're not healed enough." And I was like, "Well, I still got to try." And she was like, "You could really mess your foot up if you do this." And I'm like, "I know, but I I have so many people relying on me. I care for these people, and I literally told my foot doctor his job is to keep me safe. I will break my foot again if it means getting this film done." I was dead serious when I said this a month ago. I am dead serious now, and so yeah, so she helped me. Like she was able to remove one of the pins. And so to make that day even weirder, she's getting ready to throw it away, and I was like, "Wait, are you going to throw that away?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Can I keep that?"
I mean,
like,
that's a
like,
fair question.
yeah, no,
Right?
I swear if my grandma wasn't in the room with me with during all this, I swear I think she would have just strangled me. Which no, actually, that I'm kidding about that part. Like she was such a sweet lady, and actually, like she painted something on each one of the like balls like the end of the rod that like it was like the Japanese symbol for like good luck. And but yeah, anyway, like we did that like with a broken foot.
And then we dragged you to a convention too
Yeah,
while you were still healing.
uh-huh,
Yeah,
yeah, like I
absolutely.
and that's actually, oh god, if my doctor listens to this podcast and kills me, like y'all know why, because I actually never told her about the convention.
Well, to be
I
fair,
Actually,
like,
that's when I first met you in person too.
yeah, like I man, I'm so glad because like I wanted to leave such a good impression because you seem like such a wonderful person, and I wanted to leave a good impression, but I was so miserable.
Oh, I bet.
yeah,
But like, but yeah, like right after filming, she was like, "Wow," like she's like, "You guys took care of us." I mean, and I did. Like, like there was times where I would shoot for like 20, 30 minutes, and I bet, guys, I need to rest again. And like we brought like a rolling chair. We had this like so many other things I could just sit and rest on. But she's like, you took great care. Now, please, no more extreme walking or anything. Promise me you'll rest for until the rest of those pins can come out. And I was like, yeah, you got me. And then I went to a convention like 3 days later.
Yeah. And that night was a really good night because that's me, you, Wolf, and then one of the people that we do films and the haunt with, Emily, just hung out
Mhm.
all night
Oh yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah, and
it's fun.
that's why I love you guys like so much. Like we can just hang out and do stuff because like that's literally all I'm down for. Like I'm not joking. Like if you guys like showed up, and was like, "Hey, do you want to drive to Lexington tonight?" I'd be like, okay. I mean, I might pass out on you guys where it's a bit later, but I'd still go with you.
Hell yeah. Which
Yeah.
to be fair, I mean, call me biased, but I think we're a fun bunch to hang out with. Well, no, not even just that. Like I have had other people that have hung out with us come up to me and was like, "Dude, I can't wait to hang out with you guys again. You all are the absolute best people to be around.
Yeah.
Like it's always so fun. We're always talking, having a great time, great food, and memories
And
that will
the
last
fact that
forever."
it's genuine
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Cause like I've met people and it's like, yeah, I mean, we can hang out and it's not as genuine as when we get together.
Nah,
Hmm.
no, not at all. Like, and I think that that really means a lot to people. And I think that getting the podcast out there is really going to open more people up to that. And I already think of quite a few people that would be like, yeah, we'd love to talk to you guys, and
Hmm.
Yeah.
maybe eventually branch out to not even just keep it contained within our small little corner of the woods, but branch out and talk to people from other states, maybe even other countries at some point in time. You know,
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it would be really cool.
artists and small community people, and hell, maybe even some of the big people on the totem pole. I think that would be kind of awesome too. Just all sit around, have a nice
Yeah.
little chat.
Oh yeah. Now there's a few people I'd love to have on board. Some people I know would do it because like whenever we was doing the, I know the abbreviation didn't turn out to be Lego, but I'm just going to keep calling it Lego because it's easier for me to process.
That's fine.
Yeah, like when we was doing the Lego podcast, which that actually sounds a lot funnier when I say it out loud.
Not sponsored, by the way.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
like if that doesn't exist right now, somebody at Lego is like, huh.
yeah. This podcast was not sponsored by Lego, sadly, but anyway, like we did one really good guest, which actually turned out to be our only guest, and the only reason our old podcast even has a Facebook, I made a Facebook just to promote him, and then we never did anything with it again. but
Real talk,
but
Facebook sucks. So
yeah. Oh yeah, anytime, like I'll have people message me, and like I've actually been cutting down on my like phone screen time a lot. Like I'm down to like less than an hour a day, which is how I'd like to keep it.
yeah.
But anyway, what I mean to say is like I had like 3 or 4 people that said that they would love to come on the podcast and just chit chat with us.
Oh yeah. I think it would be fun following a theme that our first guest needs to be the GOAT again.
Oh, yeah.
On this one. He's something else. Like I love him so much.
Yeah, we'll get him, and depending on how filming goes with Jace, again, there's some. I'll put it this way: we need to shoot some maybe scenes that may or may not be in the final cut of the movie, but it's for a very vital, good cause that's really top secret, like outside the cast.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think we'll be shooting that. But like, I definitely want to take Jace to see, I like to see Adam, and there's one guy we also hang out with, another project Wolf's affiliate with. Those like these two other really wonderful actors. We talked about doing this, and it might not be exactly a podcast, but but we ended up talking with one of them we was talking about him getting giving him a monologue. And so like he would do the monologue, and then he would drink and smoke for a bit and come back like 30 minutes later and do the same monologue and just keep doing that for like 3 or 4 hours just to and compare the very first take to the very last take.
I mean, I think that would be pretty fun. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, like but yeah, because we're going to be filming we're going to begin shooting for the movie called Dark Carnival extremely soon.
Oh yeah, and I think all of those people would be really fun to get in on here as well.
Uh-huh.
Oh, most definitely.
And
maybe do a closer to the time, do like an episode where you guys are bringing Herschel, the director,
yeah,
on
absolutely.
on the show.
Gotta get Herschel.
Oh yeah.
And then between everybody that we know that we've met on Twitch, I think they would all get a kick out of this as well. And oddly enough, huh?
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say which actually like whenever because like Herschel and I talk a bit about filming every now and then, like, and if he happens to listen to this podcast, I plan on asking him to do a special cameo for Invisible Scars.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
But I think I know a little words. I'll learn how to speak English one of these days. But I know, oddly enough, there's quite a few people that I graduated with that I think would be interested in listening to the podcast. And would probably like to be a guest on here. And I say oddly enough, and it's not throwing anything off on them, absolutely not. But like, my 10-year reunion is coming up, and like you're going through getting reconnected with people that you haven't seen and talked to in forever. And once like you start doing that, people's like, "Hey man, it's really awesome to hear from you," and blah blah and all this cool stuff. And I always thought you were really cool, and I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing. And I'm sitting there thinking, "Huh, I didn't think I was that. I didn't think I was that memorable, but I'm glad you remember me." But then again, I'm also the kind of person I don't think that really highly of myself. Um, but
I don't know why. You're awesome.
well, thank you.
I was second that, like, then, you know, like, but I kind of say, like, I really, I really, like, it's just like, for me, like, I really have like a lot of self hope, like, loathing, like, I really, like, cause I actually, like, one of the wildest things, like, that, you know, like, I did the speaking about like growing up, like being on the spectrum, and like I was treated really bad, like all throughout high school because of it. And I mean, they did stuff that I am 99% sure was borderline illegal, like having like someone follow me all the time and like write down everything I do, like every interaction I had with people. I
That's
had this
fucked.
person, I had this person, a woman, mind you, like in the middle of class, like when I would go use the bathroom, she would go wait outside, you know, like for me, and then one case tried to follow me into the men's room, and
Uh,
I really don't mean to be one of those guys to pull that card, but it's like, you know, like imagine if the you know, like the sexes were reversed, and I was like, you know, like a like an adult in their late 30s trying to follow like a 16-year-old girl into the girls' room. You know?
yeah, that's it's a bit
Yeah.
weird, man. Just a little
Yeah.
bit.
But anyway, so like I did this presentation, and like the only and I mean I had a blast. I'm so glad I did it, but like the only reason I did is because like again like when I was just like walking to get groceries, this woman gave me a ride, and she told me that her kid was on the spectrum, and that like I was like an idol to her, and like to say it blindsided me is like an understatement, because like, you know, and I mean I said thanks, but like in my head I'm like, you know, like I almost said like you need to get your kids some better idols then.
Nah, you're great, man. Both of you guys are great.
Yeah.
I love y'all to death. And I think like mainly we're just used to not thinking of ourselves in that light. So we're kind of used to
Mhm.
being like, oh, well, I kind of suck. But whenever you hear other
Yeah,
people say it,
most
you're like, whoa,
definitely.
yeah. But yeah, a lot of these people, I think they would get a kick out of it, either just listening, and if we can get a few of them on the show, that'd be awesome. I know one, she does tattoos. She's like a tattoo artist, and then
Ooh,
there's
sweet.
several that are like doing their own thing, and it's pretty kick ass. Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Hmm.
most definitely. Um, I may even talk to my tattoo artist
Your
because
tattoo
he's
artist is awesome, dude.
deeply into horror, like extremely, and I love what he's doing for my horror piece.
Absolutely. Everything that you have shown me so far has been phenomenal, and I will definitely let him tattoo me as soon as I can make it down there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like if you ever come down here and you're looking for a tattoo, I am taking you to him.
Absolutely. I want to. I absolutely want to. Like I I honestly don't have enough nice things to say about the pieces that you've shown me so far. And I think it's kind of funny, like the one that's on your knee. I'll go ahead and tell this
Hmm.
story. Where we're big into horror and we make our own props and costumes and all this other stuff. So obviously we're into Transworld. And for anybody who doesn't know what Transworld is, it's a huge Halloween convention. It shows like the industrial side of it. So you have people who make animatronics, masks, fog solutions, all that cool stuff. But there's this
Definitely, if you want to make it in the horror business, that's the place you want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And it all looks phenomenal. Like, you see kids like in the candy store and all this other stuff. Anytime we throw on our Transworld video, that's basically all of us.
Definitely.
Just watching it, like, yeah, that's awesome. But there's this one piece that's featured. It's like this doctor, and he has like 2 sets of eyes. So he's got like 4 eyes. But Dad, he was like, man, seeing that kind of bothers me. It messes with me a little bit. And I'm just like, that's on Gum Bunny's knee. And
And I
pull
never
up
even thought about it.
you pull up your short leg a little bit, or yeah, you pull up your shorts a little bit to show your knee, and you have a skull with 2 sets of eyes on your knee, and he's like, well, it is, isn't it?
You know, I had to show a little ankle.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's all
So
phenomenal.
scandalous.
Oh my god! I peaked. I'm sorry. I just deafened everybody. But yeah, like, the dude does absolutely great work. And then the person that I graduated with, yeah, she shows a lot of her work on Facebook and all that stuff. And I would definitely, if we can, I'd like to get her on here. And plus, we just know a bunch of creative people in general.
Oh,
Whether
yeah.
it's less artists or filmmakers or authors or you name it. We got enough people. We can have so many guests, and that's just getting started.
Yeah.
I think we're off to a pretty good start. God, that was redundant. I just repeated myself. I have no education. I went to Winston University. Bonus points if you get what reference that is from, and you're not one of us 3.
Oh man, yeah. I'll tell you, I went to good old Winston University, and I ended up I shot a train, but that train was just a car.
And I bet it would have been a good car too.
Yeah.
And that's what tortures you, am I right?
Right?
I've still got your Winston sign.
I think I'm a good train.
I've still got your Winston sign in the back of my car. And
Oh sweet.
somebody asked me about it the other day. They were like, did you steal that? And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, did you steal this sign in the back of your car? Because that seems like something you would do. Which, A, I can't blame you for thinking that. B, no, this is a prop. Like, this is just a prop. This is actually something that Oakley had made. Like, oh my god, this is a piece of Oakley movie history? I'm like, yeah.
Yep.
Can I hold it? And I'm like, yeah, I guess. It's a sign. Go for it. Just don't run off with it.
Yeah, it's like an actual part of like because like a lot of our films take place in a fictional town called Winston, Kentucky, which I forget what we told one of the actresses to say like when she was doing some voiceover, but she accidentally name dropped Lexington as being a neighboring town. So I guess all we know about Winston is it's near the actual town of Lexington, Kentucky. But yeah, it's basically all the worst parts of like growing up in Eastern Kentucky all rolled into one.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
Describing Winston to somebody, because somebody had asked me about it, it was like, I'd say it was a year or better ago. They're like, so what's this place like? And I'm like, it's an armpit of a town.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the only way I know how to accurately describe it. Like, everything bad happens in Winston. Like, you know, that everybody's got that place in their community.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you take all of those places and roll them up into
Where I grew
one.
up in Massachusetts, for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all of those places rolled up into one. Yep. That would be Winston. I think eventually one thing we should also do, because I don't want to, like, damage that sign. Because it's a lovely sign. Whoever you got to make that, they did a fantastic job. But we need to get another one and actually, like, shoot it with a shotgun.
Or
So
make it look damaged.
yeah.
If any of y'all It's a legit because like I want it because sometimes I'll go cheap on a movie. I mean, but like for this sign, like I paid like an actual like it's the same company that does like our county's road signs,
Oh wow,
and
so
so
it's like a legitimate sign company. Like this wasn't
yeah,
Oh,
like a
nice.
one-off like
yeah,
little Etsy shop or something like that. This was an
I,
actual.
I yeah, no, like they're not the whoever saw it wasn't joking. They said it's like an actual road sign because it really is. It's even got the proving to like stand up like against the weather and everything.
Oh my gosh, that's
Oh,
amazing.
nice.
Which not throwing off on people who have Etsy shops.
Oh
Absolutely
yeah.
not. You guys are awesome and you do some awesome work. But yeah, when you said you had a sign made, I actually thought you had bought it off of somebody from Etsy. I didn't know you actually got like an actual county road sign company. That's even the word for it
hmm
to make one. That's
And
kick
it
ass.
it it ended up costing me right around like $55, I think.
I mean,
Which
that's not bad considering what I was
That
yeah,
ain't
thinking.
bad at all.
yeah. Now, like, I mean, to be honest, like I was expecting it to be a lot more.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we might be shooting the opening scene of the movie this weekend, which is just somebody stealing the sign because I I'm I could name drop him, but I mean, there's nothing anyone could do to him now because he's like passed
Mhm.
away. But I'm still going not because to respect him, but I just say this was like this crazy old man I grew up around for whatever reason, and I'm not even going to name like what sign it was. And I mean, this is like far off from like where I live now. It's like in the middle of nowhere. There was this certain sign that this guy would just steal all the time, and he would just put
That's
them.
my son.
Yeah, like, yeah. I mean, every time they would put a new sign up, he would steal it like a couple months later, and he just put him in the corner. He did nothing with him. He just wanted to take that sign.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Like that's really funny actually.
Nah, you're not allowed to put a sign there. If you put one up, I'm taking it.
hmm
Taking it. That's all you're gonna have to deal with.
It's like apparently that's a big thing to do around here because I personally know a lot of people
I feel
who
like
do
that's in a
that.
lot of small towns.
Yeah, like you just steal a sign and that's it.
hmm Oh yeah, I mean that's the reason like you have all these numbered roads and like you'll get to one that's like 419.5 because like every time they name a sign, I have a sign that says 420. People is just going to steal it.
Oh, most
So
definitely.
I
yeah,
don't blame them
like,
because that's
there,
funny.
yeah, there's like three different roads that were named 420, and people just kept stealing the signs. So there's like, okay, we give up. Which I guess it's a good thing my brain's wired different from the rest of the population because if and y'all can search my house, there's no signs aside from the Winston one that's occasionally here. But if y'all did search my house, you will not find any road signs. So I'm not I don't take road signs. I'm not condoning it or anything. But if I did, I would be the guy to take the 419.5 just because they go through all that effort to rename the road to stop it, and I just be, well, actually,
I like that number better.
To me,
yeah,
that puts so much more value on it because they're like, let's let's try to like cut down on people fucking with this, and they're like, ha, that just makes it more fuck withable. It's a
Yeah.
yeah.
word. I don't care now.
Now,
It's
I'm not gonna say I don't have any street signs back home, uh, but I've been known to find some.
You just commandeered it for a little bit.
Yeah, tactically acquired.
Yeah, I mean,
see, my reason again. One of y'all might actually know this like special, but it's been so long ago. But I remember watching it when I was like 10, I like my grandma's living room because I would used to go down to her place to like sleep at night. And I was watching this comedian special, and this guy was talking about this friend of his that went to like all these parties with him, but never drunk, never indulged, never hit on anybody. And so for a while, you kind of get creeped out by someone just doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And one time they were at this house, and he caught him sneaking into this person's bedroom, and he's like, "Well, what's he doing?" And he walked in there, and the guy was taking these like old family pictures of like the person's like grandparents. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Come to my house later." And the guy did, and he had like a whole wall full of like these pictures of like people's grandparents and stuff. And he's like, "Well, why are you doing this?" He's like, "Because that's the one thing you won't notice it's gone, but when you do, you know it. You'll never be able to get it back."
Wow.
Holy fuck, dude. That's like, I don't know whether to be like
Impressed or creeped out?
right, like you're right at that in between part, and your brain's just like,
Yeah, like, like but yeah, that's basically just that's one of my favorite things about humanity is reading just how petty and weird people can truly get when they
Yeah.
want to be, and sometimes they don't. I kind of like the first Scream. It's sometimes it's a lot more interesting when there's no motive.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It kind of reminds me of that one movie that we pitched to each other the other night that I'm not going to spoil right now, but
Oh.
because we need to make that. We absolutely need to make that, like the little skit
I think I know
Yeah.
which one you're talking about.
about Jimmy. If
Yeah,
that's even his
I
name.
know it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Like, I admire that degree of pettiness so much, I'm actually
Yeah.
going to do it.
Oh yeah.
No spoilers.
And that one actually pits two people against each other.
Uh,
Just for that pettiness.
It's, I mean, it's why I'm pretty sure I'm sure you guys are Disney fans, but I don't know if I know you guys good enough to assume like you're not diehards, but
oh,
even
yeah.
if you even if but even so, I would recommend this. One guy made like a 3-hour documentary on Kimba the White Lion and how Disney did not, in fact, rip steal from Kimba the White Lion.
I think you
And I
actually
mean
showed me
it's like
that.
a it's like a 3-hour documentary. This guy goes over every single claim. He reviews the entire Kimba the White Lion series from the '60s, the '90s, the 2000 reboot, all the movies and everything. And he even goes into the original like claim that's like some like Harvard expert wrote, and just like embarrasses her because he proves she didn't actually watch the original Lion King movie. And like, and so he does all this stuff, but the fact that he became he debunked one of the most famous rumors of all time, and the fact that he's now the number one expert on Kimba the White Lion out of sheer pettiness and spite is just so astounding to me.
I ovate that, actually.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Like,
like he watched like over like almost 200 hours of Kimba the White Lion content.
like, I'm not one to really throw shade at anybody, but you said that he humiliated a Harvard expert, or not a Harvard, like
Uh-huh.
somebody who went to Harvard by showing
Yeah.
that they did not do their research.
Yeah,
Mm.
I might get the exact detail wrong because it's been a while since I watched it, so I might be guilty of what the Harvard expert did. But anyway, so like she claims that like Simba sees Mufasa like through the sun instead of like how him seeing him like through the clouds. And she says a bunch like a couple other things that just did not happen in the Lion King at all. So
Yeah.
proving that at best it was the Lion King was on in the background, because like when Simba actually sees his dad, it's pitch black like in the moon,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and she shows a picture that's just like a highly compressed JPEG of Simba talking to his dad, and that picture kind of looks like could have been from the sun, like it had something else weird done to it, but he just shows that she just took that JPEG and went with it.
Yeah, it was probably somebody making a meme, and she's like, "Oh, that's it."
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is why doing your research is important. Like, I would expect you, of all things, you would have seen The Lion King at least once before
Right?
you would have been
Especially
like,
as a kid.
yeah, for real. Like, why would you go into an argument like, you're not even half cocked? You're not even loaded. You don't even have your gun.
You don't even have rounds in your magazine.
You're not even real. So, like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, and I've actually pulled up the comments to this video. Like somebody like says, I keep coming back to this because it blows my mind that a two decade old conspiracy theory was destroyed by some random dude on the internet who got bored and became the first person to actually research the subject.
Whoever you are,
That's
go you,
dedication.
man.
Like, and then someone, because the guy's name is also Adam. It's like, Adam, I have a few things to say about the subject. Video is actually longer than the actual Lion King.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is. That's dedication.
it's 2 hours and 27 minutes.
How long is The Lion King? Hold on, let me look this up.
That's a good question. Uh, 1 hour 58 minutes.
That is impressive. I'm
So he goes on for another hour longer than the actual movie.
again, I ovate that.
And like someone's like, my man just straight up watched 3,300 minutes of 60s anime just to prove someone wrong on the internet.
That's cute. He deserves a gold medal for that one.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
The video setting at over 5 million views now.
Wow,
Uh-huh.
that's really good.
Let's see. I think. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying. I'm trying to see if I can't find find that one. If I find that woman, the one who did the sermon and was just completely wrong about it.
Oh, the Harvard lady.
Yeah.
While we're on the topic of YouTube videos, and I know we mentioned them previously before, dude, we have went down some serious YouTube rabbit holes, and
For
like
sure.
just us honestly waiting for stuff to render or waiting for stuff to
Oh
export.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say what he does, but there's some Yoda videos that we came across, and we went down like a 6-hour rabbit hole, and then like while we're waiting for stuff to render, and it gets done rendering, and we spend like the remainder of this 6 hours still going down this rabbit hole before we look at each other like, what the fuck are we doing with our lives?
Right?
Why are we
Okay. so
I mean, there is so many. So many.
so like she so like she wrote she wrote that Mufasa appeared as a vision on the surface of the moon.
No.
Yeah. So
I've not seen the movie in
clouds.
years, and I know that's wrong.
Yeah.
mhm.
He forms out of the clouds.
Yeah. So she claimed that because there's a scene in the 90s. Yeah, so
I know what scene she's thinking of. It's when he first look in the water and you can see the moon reflect. And he thinks it's his dad, but it's really him.
mhm. But
I'm gonna have
I
to go back and
so
watch
I
this now.
so like in the 90s Kimba movie, Kimba sees his dad in the moon.
Mm.
But notice I said 90s. That's because the like whenever you watch the comparison videos of everyone showing clips from Kimba the White Lion that the Lion King stole out off of,
Yeah.
that's actually a 90s TV special to try and reboot the series that was released after the Lion King. So that version
Huh.
is Kimba specifically copying from the Lion
Yeah.
King. But because the original anime became in the 60s, everyone was like, "Oh, Disney stole this 30-year-old anime." But yeah, so anyways, that's how a horror podcast ended up derailing into talking about Kimba the White
I mean, like I said, it's all about conversation, and this is
Right.
the kind of conversations that we have. We'll be still so because right there where we shoot at, we don't have like a shower or anything.
Lion. Mm-hmm.
We have a bathroom, but there's no shower in there. So we'll still be absolutely covered in blood and like all dirty and whatnot. And then next thing you know, we're going down a 6 hour rabbit hole of Kimba the White Lion and other things. Johnny Cash being a good car,
Car.
you
Yeah.
know,
I think I'm been a good car.
and Shrek, among other things. But
It's like stuff like
Okay.
that. It's like stuff like that always ended. Well, I mean, it's also like the Mandela effect. You know, like how they
oh
like
yeah,
did
Oh
the
yeah.
did the Monopoly man ever have a monocle? How did they spell Looney Tunes?
Or
Uh,
Curious George with the tail or without a tail.
yeah,
how does
and
Darth Vader reveal he's Luke's father?
Yeah.
hmm I believe the answer to that one is the canonical version where it's the Lego Star Wars, and he couldn't. You know, I think it was too young. It was too early for them to put voice clips, so he just shows Luke a picture of Anakin and pregnant Padme and just points at it.
Yes, I
And
accept that. I
it's
accept that
funny, a lot of
wholeheartedly.
people think it says, Luke, I am your father, but it's not.
Yeah, even
hmm
James Earl
Actually, not
Jones
that
thinks
way.
that. And he played
Yeah.
Darth Vader. Or the voice.
Yeah,
Uh
he was
huh.
the voice.
So to anybody who wants to know what shooting with us is like, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, with that, well, this is post shooting. Like, it's pretty fun when we're shooting, but like afterwards when we're uploading footage and like waiting for stuff to render, this is exactly what it's like.
hmm
Only there's a lot more memes and copyrighted
Oh
stuff
yeah.
that we can't play right now.
And and it's a surprising heartfelt because like I won't say who or like what, but like we had a heartfelt discussion with like an actor, and we was like playing this like this like really sad. Well, the song is Alice in Chains' Nutshell, which is a song I
Mm.
really relate to like
Same.
a lot personally,
Yeah.
and so like they were going on this really heartfelt story while that song played in the background, and it was a doomer mix to make it even worse.
Mm.
And that's another comment that I've gotten a lot, like with everybody that's had those moments with us. They're like, man, I trust you guys so much and I'm so comfortable around you guys. Like, I feel like I can talk about anything without judgment. And that's very much true. And, that's another really good aspect that I think comes from the bonds that we have with people and just us being the way that we are is we're really approachable, we're really relatable people. And
Oh
really,
yeah, for
where we're
sure.
at is definitely a safe space for everyone.
And I feel like that's what we try to make it like.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I mean it's something I could really like. like actually, to talk more about somber thoughts, because this was like a majority of this was shot like in late 2015. But like I was talking about it and another film of mine, Fallen Souls, because we have like a lot of trans actors in our movies, and they always play the characters they want to play, and like. Anyways, like we had this like person like out of town, and I was showing them some movies, and they just went on this big long spiel about like how amazing it is that like I have like films that are like trans inclusive, that go out of their way to respect people's pronouns, like how they identify, all this stuff. And he just went on, and like finally when he let me speak, I was like, well, to be honest, I never really thought of it. I was just letting people play be who they wanted to be, like on camera. And and I mean, I've always, I mean, you tell me what name makes you comfortable. That's what I'm going to call you. And like I've always been that way.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah, and I feel like that's very important. Like not secluding people in that sense. Very inclusive. We like to make everybody feel welcome.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's really paid off so far, especially with well, I don't want to name drop anybody because I don't know if I want to talk about this. But somebody that we work with quite frequently. Whenever I first met him, he was extremely shy and all that stuff, and wouldn't really talk a whole lot. Wasn't really that social. Then he got involved with us and what we do, and when he started to started transitioning, he he felt so comfortable with everything around us, and that was around the time when he started to do more. Like he started to act, and he started to really just be around us. And I honestly can't be any more proud of just seeing him come out of his shell and be his own person. And
Oh yeah.
I'm really happy that we're able to provide that kind of support and that
Hmm.
positive reinforcement to
Oh yeah,
people.
most definitely.
You know.
Oh yeah. I mean that's what like everyone like he. And I would say it's important for people growing up, but it's important for everyone to have people who like actually care about you, and like are like genuinely interested in what your hobbies, and what you like to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that's like what I tell anyone. Like I teach photography and stuff. Like to just please, like so send me a random picture. Like tell me what you're doing. Tell me how your art projects are. Tell me if you start anything new. Like I genuinely like want the absolute best in the world for them.
Mhm. Same.
Yeah.
Man, this is exactly turning into one of our usual hangouts. Because so far, what have we had? We've had like down to earth business kind of stuff with like the podcast side
Most
of things.
definitely.
Then we had memes, and then we went down the rabbit hole, and now we had like the really heartfelt, sentimental moment and all that stuff. And yeah, this is exactly pretty much what hanging
Who
out
we
with us is
are.
like. Yeah, and that's this podcast, and I think it's gonna do good. It's absolutely gonna do good. We're gonna have fun with
I
it.
Most definitely.
I did I I did not watch the clip, but where I've been looking at old footage, I actually found the clip from like some of the AMIers, which that's the film program I help with. They made a documentary with about me, and it was it was very last minute, as in they decided like a week into their final project to change it to about me, and they sprung it on me very last minute. Like I was just hanging out, and they're like, "Hey, can we make this movie about you?" And I'm like, "Well, you got about 3 days before I go to Detroit, so get all the footage you can of me."
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Like, yeah.
like, like, but anyways, my favorite clip in the world is they're trying to film Wolf and I coming into the record store, and they've got the camera angle zoomed in on like this really heavy metal album, you know, like they're already anticipating us walking over and checking on it, and we walk in and we go right past it and like start checking out this like Britney Spears vinyl that just happened to be on the wall.
Yep. I actually forgot about that in all seriousness. But yeah, I remember, well, it's like, they know us. They know, because we're total metalheads. We're absolute metalheads and punk rockers and
Oh
all
yeah.
that stuff.
Mhm.
But,
I mean, you guys definitely dress more the part,
yeah,
but we all thoroughly enjoy that style of music.
yeah. But we did, man. We walked right past the metal section, and it's just like this one random Britney Spears album. We're just like, what the heck is this?
Uh-huh.
Because it was so different. Like, I wasn't
Oh
expecting
yeah.
to see it. I really wasn't. Which then again, not throwing anything off on Britney. Absolutely not. But, that was just like one of the last things I was expecting to see. And it's like, buddy, look at that.
Oh yeah.
And also, I was kind of worried about, like, well, I don't want to run straight in front of their camera because I don't want to mess up their shot. Because working with that medium, which is actually funny. That's how Oak and I had met, was in that program back in 2012.
Uh-huh.
We ran into that a lot. You know, you'd have everything set up, and you would be doing an interview with somebody, and somebody would walk right in front of the camera because we interviewed a lot of people in public places and stuff like that. So like
Oh yeah.
we'd be out on a bench or something, and we'd have the camera set up in a way where people could still get by, but you know they would have to go around us, and they wouldn't go around us. They would just walk right in front of the camera, and then they were like, "Are you guys filming?" And we're like, "No, we've just got this
No,
camera
not at
set up
all.
here for absolutely nothing." Buddy, look
Like,
here.
you think we got this camera here for nothing?
Check this guy out, man. Dick Tracy. He's fucking good. But yeah, that you run into
This
that stuff a
he's a
lot.
wise guy over here.
You do, man. You run into that kind of stuff a lot. So I don't, like, as often as I can, I, like, if I see somebody filming something, I'll stop and, like, really watch
Uh-huh.
them for a little bit, try and figure out what they're going to do and work around them because I don't want to mess up their shot. Or even when I'm being interviewed,
Oh yeah.
I'll try to give this person sound bites instead of, like, just kind of talking like I would normally talk. I would try to give them more or less, like, what I want to say, also falling in line with something that they can use in their piece without having to cut it down so much.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the kind of talking you do whenever you're really cutting your teeth learning how to make documentary film. So yeah, and then Gun Bunny and I, we met on Twitch, which was kind of
Yeah.
funny in and of itself. So my handle, the Wolf of Pennsyltucky, I came up with that because, you know, at the time I came up with that handle, I was actually living in Pennsylvania, in an area that they call Pennsyltucky, and I wasn't aware of this. I had no idea such a thing was a thing, because, you know, I know there's also a character apparently in Orange is the New Black called Pennsyltucky. I don't know, I've never watched it, but
I've only seen it when my ex-wife was watching it,
yeah,
and yeah, I don't remember.
yeah. But what was kind of funny about that was whenever we met on Twitch, he was like, "Hey, where in Pennsylvania you live?" And I told him where I lived before I had moved back to Kentucky. He was like, "Dude, that's sweet. I actually used to live within a mile of where you lived." And we're like, "No way!"
Yeah, and it
So
kind of just sparked from there.
yeah, and then we've been brothers ever since. Like
Oh, most definitely.
following each other on Twitch, and then gaming regularly, well, semi-regularly because I work like stupid hours.
And at the
Just
time, I was working some really weird hours too.
then we're starting a prop company, and now we're acting and all that stuff together, and now we do a podcast together. So
Yeah.
that's how all of us come to meet and know each other. two of my brothers, absolutely.
Hmm.
Most definitely.
And even then, like, with us three, we're going to be like the regular, but we're gonna have some other friends on here. Like, we need to get Austin on here as well. He's another person we collaborate with quite a bit, and another local like filmmaker and actor. Really great dude. A lot of fun stories as well.
Most definitely.
I don't think you've met Austin, have you, Bunny?
I don't think I have, but I think you've told me stories about him.
Oh, you'll love him. You'll absolutely love
Mhm.
him. He's always fun to talk to.
Oh yeah, we still got to bring him back to do some line dubbing. But if we can work it out, like it'd be cool to try and get everyone to get everyone to hang out together.
That would be
Yeah.
absolutely killer. That would be absolutely killer. And then like, which Austin also he didn't get to do it this much this past year, but he's also a scare actor with us at Mountain Mayhem.
Oh yeah,
And even then, that's
and he.
another one we need to get on here is Nikki.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Definitely get the Mountain Mayhem crew.
Yeah, and as I said, I've seen
Especially
a
when it
lot.
comes closer to hunt time. I think that'd be a really good way to spread the news
Oh yeah, we'll be free
and the
advertising.
hype for sure.
Absolutely. But to anybody wondering, because I've been asked this several times, because they know us, they know how our minds work and all that stuff. They'll ask us, "Are you working on stuff for the haunt this year?" And I'm like, "Man, we've been working on stuff for the haunt this year since the one last year ended.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
can you give us a hint?" Absolutely not.
No, not to hunt
Not till
is
after
over.
season. No, we can't actually
Hmm.
share any details with
Yeah.
because we actually do sign NDAs. Is one thing. Um, and then two, I'm just not a big fan of spoilers, especially
Oh
with stuff
yeah,
that I'm working on.
Oh yeah.
Now,
because
eventually, what?
oh sorry,
No, you're
sorry. Now
fine.
I was going back. Yeah, because I go on way because again I love documenting stuff. But I did promo pictures with like some of the members of the haunt, like in different costumes that they weren't wearing during the haunt itself, and they've talked about getting all of us to do like a short mini documentary, and I would love to do that. But like I made sure, like, because like I kind of thought they was going to try to do it like last year during the haunt,
Hmm.
so I made
Yeah.
sure to because and but because I made sure to like I got some grainy footage of the haunt from 2 years ago that I was going to use. That way people would be like if they did check this documentary out, they would be like, aha! So I'm expecting this one room, and then that room's not actually in the haunt at all that year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This past year, we actually did a TV promo or a news promo, and I wore a different outfit, and it was an outfit that actually did not make an appearance at all in the haunt. And some of my friends and family had seen it, and they're like, "Hey, that's him. That's him. We know what to look for now." And then they went through, and they're like, "We didn't see him at all." And I got asked. I got asked about it. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna show you guys
Of
what
course
I'm gonna be
not.
dressed up as." But I'm
Uh
also considered developing an original character just to kind of be like that
which
one that's
those are
like,
my favorite.
yeah,
Original characters are some of my favorites to even cosplay.
yeah. Which like all the stuff that we do in Mountain Mayhem is completely original.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
you're not really gonna go there and find Michael or Leatherface. There's occasionally we'll have like a special night where we'll dress up as some of our favorite
Yeah,
monsters and stuff
and
like that.
like that one night we did do Leatherface,
Yeah,
but it was that one night only.
yeah. And you killed it as Leatherface, man. You do
Oh
an
yeah.
absolutely phenomenal Bubba.
Uh it was definitely a lot of fun playing as them. I'm also the type that will definitely cover myself in fake blood for the haunts
Yes.
effect, which still
Yes.
has my hair dyed red.
It really does. And this is from this past October. Like,
Yeah.
Gun Bunny was actually at my house this past weekend, and I was looking at his hair, and I was like, it's still red. It is still red.
Still red.
I even did his like professional actor headshots, and like you can see in some of the pictures you're like covered in stunt
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
snake blood.
But I mean, that's kind of how I wanted it, you know?
Oh yeah, and you pulled it off
Mhm.
well. Pulled it off very
Yeah.
well. But no, pretty much every character in Mountain Mayhem is completely original.
Hmm.
But I thought about developing one that's just gonna kind of be a recurring one. It's just kind of like your face, your public one that's like everywhere, but is
Hmm.
also not really part of the hunt. If that makes any
Yeah.
sense. Like, this is the one I'll do all my public persona and all that stuff with. Well, not even public persona, but like, you know what I mean. It's the one's gonna appear on TV. It's the one's gonna
Yeah.
appear on like any kind of promo and all that stuff. But once you get into the nitty gritty of the hunt, you're not gonna see this one at all. And I think that's fun because you don't want to go have someone go into it expecting this.
Mhm.
You know, got to have a little bit of an element of surprise.
Hmm. For sure. And I know we were talking about some ideas that I really don't want to spoil, but I thought they were really great ideas
Oh yeah.
for the haunt.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing that's really fun with you guys as well, is just us bouncing ideas off of each other and really developing it. And once you see it come full circle, you're like, dude, this is
Oh
Right.
killer.
yeah.
No pun intended, but
Mhm. Mhm. That's what I love the most. Like these ideas that keep coming back, because there's a couple, and I will say the one about the pettiness has been sprung around for since s- right around I guess maybe June 2020, whenever we were shooting with Casey.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember, for some reason I want to say March, but it was a bit into the pandemic, and it was a really much needed road trip, just because like how emotional, I was like so emotionally drained, and it was like it's like so nice to get out, like and be shooting, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that sounds about the right time because that was actually when I started back at my current job.
Mm-hmm.
So I had money and I could afford to go on a road trip.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I
Because
think
like
that sounds right.
it's actually so wild, because like I was working on a friend of mine wanted me to help them with a movie, and we we got a trailer done, but then the movie quickly fell apart because like just just some stuff that happens with like that can happen with projects. But not the reason I bring it up is like what's crazy is the day we decided to like go to town and stuff. I actually met you when you first like came back, before I'd even know you were back, and like we met at the we met at your workplace, and then we
Yeah.
were going to go, and then they and I were going to go film at Berea, and then like 2 hours later we saw like on the saw on the web that Berea was closed due to this mysterious virus that was coming over.
Hmm.
And so we're
Yeah.
like, okay, well, so yeah, so like that's I'd actually love to get them on the podcast just to talk about what that was like, because they and I like spent like a week and a half together, because like we were shooting this movie, they were staying here, and then they're like, oh God, well, if it's a real bad pandemic, maybe we shouldn't, you know, like sleep in two different, houses. Maybe we should just stick together as much as possible. Like it was like so surreal, but like I remember when we went to the like they and I went to the mall. and like we were literally there was like literally 6 people like in that entire mall shopping, and then compare it to when you and I went there, and it was like life had sprung back, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And actually thinking about it, that could be a really good movie idea.
It
I
was
mean,
pretty
just to
bizarre.
imagine in a world where plague has happened, life slowly starts coming back.
Hmm.
It was seriously that was very nice, by the way. But it was seriously something else because once we went there, I remember going when it was dead, and don't get me wrong, uh, I know this is gonna sound extremely weird given what we do as actors
Hmm.
and as streamers and all this other stuff. We interact with a lot of people, and we're used to being around quite a few people, but man, I really like isolation. It's really
Hmm.
nice to get away. Uh, and I do that quite often. And a lot of my friends and stuff they kind of get at me. They don't get mad. They just you know they roast me a little bit. They're like, "You are the hardest person in the world to get up with," and things like that. And they're not wrong. But it was very nice to go to this usually extremely crowded place and there to be like -3 people there. So you go in, you had time to look at pretty much everything without being in somebody else's way or somebody being in your way and not have to worry about disturbing anybody. And then once you
Yeah.
started to see that like get back to itself, that was very nice and refreshing as well. Uh, yeah, I can't stay like away from people all the time, but you know, it was
No, I
nice. It was
completely understand.
both sides of that coin were very, very interesting.
I I'm kind of the same way. There's just time when I just like want to be myself and just kick back and relax,
Hmm.
and I've noticed like it like and that's why I love you guys so much because I feel like you guys are like two of the only few people who like understands this because I have so many people get upset with me like when like they just like want to hang out and so like they want me to come over and like do this and that and I'm like well I'd rather just I kind of just want to take the day like to myself and
Yeah.
or and then like another thing like some people like I have like somebody who's just been like wanting me to like to crash at their place and
Yeah.
don't get me wrong like like I told him like I'll gladly go hang out with you but I just want to what like I just want to be able to sleep by my kind of like sleep like so sleep at my apartment and like
Yeah.
it's like it's something that's like because like they took it the wrong way, and I'm like, it's nothing personal. Like it's literally nothing against anyone. I can't even explain it. That's just how I feel.
I
And
mean,
I feel like it's shouldn't be personal because I mean, your place where you live is kind of like your own personal safe place where you feel safe. And sometimes you almost just wish you were there instead of somewhere else. And it's
yeah.
not against them, it's
Hmm.
just kind of your own mood at the time.
I mean, sometimes you just gotta get away. Just like
Yeah.
a dragonfly. That's another little rabbit hole.
Hmm.
But yeah,
That's
man, I
that's
feel
also
you.
one of the videos I like to play for you. And
Yeah.
oh my god, where it's just now turned where it's just now past midnight 3 years ago. Well, actually a bit over 3 years ago because it takes me about a day or so to tell 'em, but we were at we were at Horror Hound.
Hmm.
Wow. It's been
Wow.
3 years since that. That was a really interesting experience in and of itself. Which uh, you
Which
may
actually
be,
was funny. Talk about Horror Hound.
yeah.
I was watching videos from last year's. last night.
Oh, really?
Just to see kind of how it looked.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Which I think we may have already spoiled this. Have we?
I know we talked about the road trip.
Oh. Anyway, we're going to Horror Hound.
Yeah.
We're going to Horror
Yeah.
Hound. We're going to be there the entire weekend in Cincinnati. Not this coming weekend, but the next weekend. So
Yeah, because this weekend is Transworld.
yeah,
Actually, starts not tomorrow, but Friday. I think
yeah.
it may start tomorrow.
I think it
Not
start.
sure.
I think it may start tomorrow, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
I know it starts this weekend,
Yeah.
and I really do want to go to that one day.
Oh, absolutely. And that's aside from everything being expensive, which it's handcrafted by small businesses, so obviously I have absolutely no qualms paying the full price. But those challenges, it's like, oh, you've got like 10 minutes to spend $1 million. Well, where you going? Boys, I'm going to Transworld. See you guys. I can do this in like 3 minutes. And I won't regret a single purchase. Absolutely not. They do. They all do some fantastic work.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a lot. Like you can just be like, yeah, I want that. I want that. I want that.
So Eli, how did you get $18 trillion in debt? Well, you see, there I was. I walked
How it happened was.
I walked into Transworld and I blacked out. I don't know what all happened, and then yeah. That's how that went down. Which I can actually see happening. But, eventually I think I would love to go, and if the prop company takes off, who knows, you might even see us actually exhibiting there, or vending there, or whatever
Very
it's called.
true.
Oh yeah, that'd be amazing.
It really would. But we've been going for 2 hours, guys. I think that was a pretty good...
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good first
Not
first
even
episode.
thinking how long it was
Oh,
gonna be.
yeah.
Like we were like, oh, this is gonna be short.
I mean, I think that's pretty good for a first
Yeah.
episode. Like, how long was
Definitely.
our first episode? It was like maybe just a little over an hour. Like, of our old podcast.
I believe, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, that's awesome. But, I think that'll be a good place to cut this one off. And to anybody wondering, we're going to try to get a regular upload schedule. We're going to have this time actually, to anybody that knows what we're doing from our previous podcast, we're actually going to do weekly uploads instead of every other week on Friday at noon. So it'll be at noon Eastern Standard Time. So it'll be available on our YouTube during your lunch hour. So all that cool stuff.
Sweet.
Even though this one's
Sweet,
2 hours
definitely.
long, you can still at least listen to half of it. But right on. I'm excited. I'm really excited for next week's episode.
Oh yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
we all have ideas for the show too,
Yeah.
and I think that's what makes it better.
Oh yeah. And if anybody would like to be a guest on this, like even if you just want to be a guest, you don't necessarily have to do any kind of art or be an author or play music or even just be interested in horror. If you would like to come on the podcast and just sit and BS for a little bit, absolutely, you're more than welcome to. We'd love to have as many people on here as we can, just shooting the breeze and spreading the love around the community. So share this with your friends.
Most definitely.
Help us get the word out
Oh
there.
yeah. I'll definitely share it, and then the only other thing I could think of I'd like to say is I don't know if y'all heard that or not.
I know what it was.
No.
I played that part where it's like, I bet I'd be a good
Yeah,
car.
I bet I'd be a good car.
Good car.
Why, yeah. Um, that's the best. But yeah, we'll also have linked in the description a solo.to link to all of our other platforms. So definitely hop on there and follow us, and yeah, just try to get the word out as much as possible.
And also, I know we were talking about it. Once we do create it, there will be a Discord channel, so you can
Yes.
kind of keep up with the show too. We'll try and
Yes.
keep up a schedule there.
And
Mhm.
if anybody wants to be a guest, we can definitely do any kind of communication at your leisure. Like, obviously, we're gonna share it with people on Facebook, so anybody that we know personally can be on this. We'll have a Discord, and I also have a Zoom. So if some of you dudes Zoom, we can definitely
Oh
hook you up
yeah.
with a link. So either way, we'll establish some kind of contact. We can do that, whichever is more convenient for all you guys. So, but if nobody else has anything they want to add, I think we'll wrap this up here and see you dudes next week.
Sounds good to me,
All right.
Mason.
Most definitely.
Right on. Thank you guys so much for checking out this first episode of Small Town Slashers. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the future.
Most definitely, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited, and then depending on who everyone we're filming with this weekend, we might be able to rope in a few guests pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Which I mean, I might not be able to make it up this weekend, but still.
Yeah, we can still hop on like a call or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and which I actually without spoiling too much, we're not just I'll send you a message and explain the full story, but we're not going to be doing the party scene this weekend because a pretty big opportunity came up instead.
Oh
All right.
yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
But thank you guys so much for checking out this episode, and we will see you next Friday at noon. Thank you all so much.